What's going on, motivators? We got another video. Hey, I know last night I posted on that airman being found. Just gonna watch some more videos. But my take is, in the midst of all of that, it feels kind of strange how some Democrats are acting. What do you think?
The Fox News alert this morning, a second U.S. airman who was missing nearly 48 hours behind enemy lines in Iran, now safe after a rescue mission hailed as one of the most daring ever pulled off by U.S. Special Forces, and President Trump confirming minutes ago that the pilot was seriously injured.
Congressman Michael Baumgartner sitting on the House Foreign Affairs Committee and joined.
All right, this is news. We knew that he was rescued. As far as health and condition, we didn't know. But hearing that he has some injuries, it's to be expected. It was a downed aircraft, but let's see more about this.
Us now here in studio. Listen, we're all celebrating this morning, and we should be celebrating because this was not just a precise operation. The fact that they were able to pull this off without any loss of life, I think, is just extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. It's a great way to start the Easter weekend. Yeah. I think all Americans rejoice. We take a specific amount of pride from coming from my district because Fairchild Air Force Base in Eastern Washington is the home of the Air Force's Survive, Evade, Resist, and Escape, the SEER program. Yep. So I don't know this for a fact, but very likely that.
Well, I could say one thing. That pilot paid attention to that SEER program. Almost 48 hours with locals trying to find you behind enemy lines and still find his way within a crevice in some rocks, evading them. Paid off. Kudos to that training.
Those airmen went through Spokane for their training.
Yeah.
This could have ended very badly. All of us know it could have been ended horribly with not just loss of life for the airmen, but maybe even those rescuing. But it hasn't. What does that morale boost do for the war, for maybe peace negotiations? Where do you see this going?
Well,
I think that's an awesome take, though. We don't really think about that. Especially being in the military, when we have one of our comrades, KIA, it really brings morale down. There's nothing that motivates people right now more in the military. Soldiers, airmen, Marines, Navy, sailors, along with the Coast Guard, than seeing that that soldier, i.e. airman, got rescued. That in itself is a boost, a very big boost to fighting this war.
I think the bottom line is America and the world are a lot safer than we were 5 weeks ago. Yeah. You know, we've flown more than 13,000 attack missions in Iran, and it has been just a tiny amount of planes have been shot down. But it still is very, very dangerous. And this brings home how serious the issue is, but also it's something Americans can rally around with confidence that we don't leave anyone behind. So a lot of pride as we start.
Never, right? No one left behind, right? Especially being enemy lines. No one left behind. Everyone eventually must come home. It doesn't matter how, right? Preferably alive, but everyone got to come home. That's definitely a military creed.
This Easter weekend.
Hey, Congressman, you spent time before being a congressman in Baghdad. During the Iraq War days, you worked in counterinsurgency, some of that involving Iranian suppression. A reminder that this conflict now with Iran isn't something that just started. It's been going on, and we've seen countless service members maimed and killed from Iranian IEDs over there. What are your thoughts now as you look at where things sit? The president's given a 24-hour deadline to come to the table to negotiate. So far, Iran seems unwilling to do so.
Well, this Iranian regime is not a normal, rational regime as you and I would think about. They are really a messianic death cult, and they believe that their view of Shia Islam is going to be spread by the hand of God across the Middle East.
Yeah, that's true, though. Iran, they would think different from us. Religion is different. Their religion calls to kill. Obviously, majority of the Christian religion calls, to peace.
Dangerous operation to rescue this second lost American pilot, one involving dozens of aircraft, hundreds of U.S. military personnel, and the remarkable actions of this pilot to evade capture. It began on Friday with a message received, a communication that the pilot was alive but injured, and then over the next more than 24 hours, multiple peril.
Again, as an American, and if you're somebody who love America, and this is a feel-good story, right? We're in war, and you're being trapped behind enemy line. This is like, especially on Sunday, Easter Sunday, that pilot being rescued. I mean, that have to be, in a special place, right?
Parallel efforts to get him home safe, including mobilizing a search and rescue operation with the inclusion of ground forces, but also the CIA working to get a precise location for him, and at the same time do a disinformation campaign inside Iran to try to throw Iranian authorities off the trail.
I think that's what's so great about the military, is that the entire time they knew what an individual was, but obviously it was hard to get in because although we had air superiority, there's still people on the ground, right? So they had to create a diversion to ensure that pilot, in the midst of everything that's going on, they wouldn't find out the key location where he was at and help him evade capture. If you're in the military, I say it's a good day, right? But if you're outside the military, this is like, thinking about it, this is crazy operation as far as skill set and capabilities that U.S. has for the military. That is like supreme military capabilities. Think about that.
Political magazine Ankush Kredori. Laura Brown Lopez is also back with us. Ankush, I want to go back to the president's tweet here. Open the fucking straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. That is a quote from the president. So yes, we are saying it on television.
Parental warning.
I have been stuck on, so much so that we're doing a...
If you notice something, Democrats lately, they have went off the wall, right? Someone could write something on Twitter and you could read it and then be like a blip, right? Like, which would be the right thing to do because you could have children watching the show. But who watch MS Now anyway? Probably nobody. The rating is pretty low. But if you were to go to Fox News, they would pretty much blip it out. CNN now is not blipping out anymore. Democrats are cursing every
segment on it on the 9 o'clock. That what the president and this administration has been saying for at least the last week, that they actually did knock down a bridge that they said the military was using, but that civilians used. They said that they're going to take out all of the power plants. The president said Tuesday will be power.
But here is the thing, though. People are missing. When you're at war, the main function of war is to take away capabilities of the enemy. So we're not really looking as far as, well, yeah, you're not trying to kill civilians, but you're trying to take away their capabilities, infrastructure. That is it. That's how you fight war. Because if you take the capabilities as far as infrastructure, it prevents them from moving around and as far as getting to you in places that they may need to. Bridges and power plants are the number one thing to go when it comes to war. We just haven't done that because the part of what people don't understand, or probably they do understand, is that when you go to war, you want to fight the enemy as far as taking them down. But the downside of that, where you end up having civil military affairs come in, is you got to go back and rebuild. You got to rebuild the infrastructure, whether it be roads, agriculture, community, administration. You got to go back and rebuild all those things. And that's where the effort is the hardest. So if you have it as far as preventing those things from happening, i.e. Venezuela, you're in a good position. All you got to do is swap personnel and continue. But in Iran, if they're not taking a hit to that, you have to hit them hard. That is part of war. Strategically.
Day, that would be considered a war crime. These that the president is saying sound like, to me, and a lot of experts, war crimes. And then you have the president with this new Truth Social today.
It's very difficult for me to process this moment. I mean, this is a very unprecedented statement. We have the president of the United States basically declaring his intent to commit war crimes, right?
I don't think it's intent to commit war crimes. You see, Democrats have taken a thing to an extreme. You at war, the capabilities of war and the expectation is to project your power to the enemy, to take out all of the infrastructures. So I don't think it's a war crime. It's just that killing civilians, then it become a war crime.
You've accurately described the law. You're not supposed to be targeting civilian infrastructure, even in countries that you are nominally at war with. And this is just a further escalation of the Trump administration's sort of lack of interest in domestic international law, right? It started with the boat strikes off the in the international waters off the central, right? Then we got the deposing of the Venezuelan president. We had the war in Iran, and now this, which is disgraceful. Absolutely.
But you didn't hear any cries, right? You didn't hear any cries when the war first started, when Iran fired into hotels in the nearby countries, right? No one called for war crime. I'm telling you, MS Now, these people are atrocious.
It's very insightful. This will offend Iran's hardline jihadist leaders. It doesn't frighten them. Bullying religious extremists who want to become martyrs doesn't work. He says he's witnessed this in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Just to we also want to make a clarification. 1 p.m., the press conference will be tomorrow with military leaders in the Oval Office.
With the president. Laura, I know we're supposed to be talking about who the next attorney general is going to be, but this right here from the president of the United States, were it anyone else, we would be talking about the 25th Amendment. People in Congress would be raising hell. And why do I get the feeling that neither one of those things is going to happen?
Because it's very ironic, right? The hypocrisy is too much. You had Joe Biden in power office for 4 years. We all knew he was acting like, his cognitive decline, right? You could see the cognitive decline. But no one said anything. They said he's sharper than a tank, right? He could outrun the very young people in his administration. We all knew that. Those same people, if they cried out into Joe Biden's, right, incapabilities and they called for the 25th Amendment for him, I would definitely align with what they're saying. But the hypocrisy is too much. You literally had 4 years of a man who went to sleep. We didn't know who was running the country, yet they're quick to call the 25th Amendment for Donald Trump. It's amazing. Anyway, guys, like I said, it's a great day. The airman was rescued. Democrats still finding ways to go against Donald Trump with all the good things that we are doing as far as the nation. Don't forget to please like, comment, subscribe, and share a Black Veteran Perspective. Stay motivated.